Hey guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. Tonight we're going to be making a nice, easy, comfort classic, and it is going to be Swedish meatballs. So come along with me and let's get started. So Swedish meatballs are a very nice, simple dish, and they're easy to prepare, and it will be very quick. And so it is very nice when you're super busy, and even if you're not super busy right now and you're staying at home, this is a nice, comfortable meal that can still be made ketogenic. Swedish meatballs are very popular. In fact, there is a Norwegian furniture store that is famous for their Swedish meatballs. And if you would like to serve these in a traditional manner, you could of course serve them with a cauliflower mash, and you could even use a cranberry relish. We have a cranberry relish recipe from Christmas time that would be in keeping with the traditional Swedish meatball, which is usually served with lingonberry jam, but cranberries are very similar. So let's go ahead and jump into this recipe. Okay, so we need a couple of things when beginning our recipe. We need to soften our onion, and I have about 1/4 of an onion here, and I have softened it in 1 tablespoon of butter. You're also going to need a skillet, and I have put a little bit of avocado oil in the bottom of mine, and it's on medium heat. You're also going to need a medium-sized bowl for mixing up your meatballs. So already in my bowl, I have 1 pound of ground chuck, so ground beef. To that, I am going to add 1 pound of ground pork. You could have 2 pounds of ground chuck if you prefer. You could use ground veal, you could use ground turkey or ground chicken. I do like to combine my ground meats. I feel like it provides a very nice texture in meatballs and meatloafs, but that is completely up to you. And also, of course, right now what's available in your grocery stores will also determine what type of meat you use in these meatballs. To our ground meat, we are going to go ahead and put in the softened onion that we already did, and we're just going to plunk this in. We're going to start adding some spices to this that are traditional in Swedish meatballs. And we are going to first put in a little bit of salt. And this is, of course, to taste. Everyone likes things saltier or less salty, so use whatever you like. I'm going to putting in some black pepper. Some garlic powder, also to taste. I'm going to be putting in some ground nutmeg. I know that a lot of times people think of nutmeg as a spice that is used in sweet things like pumpkin pie, and it is definitely, but ground nutmeg is also used in savory dishes, sauces, meatballs, casseroles, things like that. So I'm going to be putting in a few sprinkles. I'm going to be doing a similar thing with the ground allspice. Just a little bit. So now we have it spiced up. So we need to add a little bit of binder. So I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of almond flour. That's 1/4 cup of almond flour. I also want 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And this is just providing our breadcrumb element. If you do not prefer to work with almond flour or Parmesan cheese, you could use a comparable amount in smashed pork rinds, if that is something that you prefer. We just need a binder, something that is going to mimic the texture of breadcrumbs here. I want a couple of squeezes of Dijon mustard. I'm going to be adding 2 eggs. I also want to add 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. And this is just going to add richness and moisture. So we are just going to take clean hands and begin mixing our meat. And you just want to make sure that everything is combined and that you've gotten everything off the bottom of the bowl. Okay, we're just going to set this aside and I'm going to wash my hands. So we have our ground meat here, our meatball mixture, and I have my cookie baller, which is a 1.5 tablespoons, and I'm just going to start making balls with this. You could just use 2 spoons or whatever you have if you don't have a baller. And I'm just going to start placing them in my heated skillet. Remember, it has avocado oil in it, and it's on medium heat. And I'm just going to start placing these evenly in the skillet and letting them get brown. I've been waiting all my life for someone like you. I would watch the days go by, wasted and blue. I was out of use. Now every day, every night, every moment with you, I'm walking on air. And every day, every way, I feel I can't lose. I wanna shout it out, ain't no limit. I wanna shout it out to the world. You got me all worked up, got me spinning. I'm crazy for love, crazy for love, crazy for crazy for love, crazy for love. Whenever lost, whenever down, you know what to do. There's no mountain I won't climb, right by your side. So just keep in mind that you want to make sure that you leave your meatballs as long as possible for browning, especially on the first side, because you don't want them to fall apart. So you definitely want to get a nice brown golden crispness. So try and leave your meatballs alone. That is definitely a key tip. Let them get a hardened surface on the bottom before you start trying to do the rotation. Okay, so we're just going to start gingerly cooking our meatballs. Okay, I'm going to remove these. They're mostly cooked. They're going to finish cooking in the sauce, but I'm going to put in the rest of the meatballs. Okay, I have just removed the meatballs, and I am just slowly scraping the pan drippings up because this is going to make our Swedish meatball gravy. So I've scraped all the yummy bits. You want to reserve these because this is where all of your flavor is at. So to this, we are going to be adding 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're just going to let that slowly melt. And I just have my burner on medium heat. The next ingredient that we're going to add is beef broth. And we want about 2 cups. If you're using a canned beef broth, 1 can is approximately 2 cups, just in case you're wondering. So 1 can would be fine. I'm just going to scrape the bits again, just to make sure that we have gotten everything off the bottom of our pan, because that's where all the yummy stuff is at. I'm going to raise the temperature a little bit, because we want this to come to a low boil. to season my broth just a little bit with some 21 Seasonings Salute. Our meatballs are very well seasoned, but I just want to make sure that our gravy is also well seasoned. Now to our drippings and broth, I am going to be adding some heavy cream. And I want about a cup of heavy cream. And I'm just getting my whisk out now. I'm just going to let these come to a simmer, just lightly whisking. So the next step that I'm going to prepare to do is I'm going to add a little bit of natural thickener. I'm going to be using arrowroot powder. If you wanted to use xanthan gum, you could. I'm going to be using a teaspoon. And I'm going to be putting it in the measuring cup that I just did the heavy whipping cream in, and I'm going to add just a tiny bit of water to make a slurry. So that will assist it in incorporating into our gravy. And you only need just a tiny bit of water. This is something traditional that you would normally do with cornstarch or flour. So you're basically making a roux of sorts. So now it's a smooth product and you don't have to worry about clumps because it's already combined. And so you can see that our gravy is starting to simmer, which is what we want. And we're just going to drizzle that evenly. And we're just going to allow it to continue to simmer. I'm going to turn the temperature down just a little bit, and I'm going to return the meatballs to our gravy and let everything heat up and thicken together. Okay, we're just going to let everything warm up and thicken up. So this has been cooking for about 10 minutes, and you can see that it has come together well. It's a beautiful color, and our meatballs are thoroughly cooked. I'm going to turn off the heat and let it stand for a few minutes. As with most keto sauces and gravies, they thicken as they stand and get cool, and it will be much thicker tomorrow as well. That's just the nature of something made without flour or cornstarch. So we're just going to turn off the heat, and as it cools down, it's going to thicken. Hi, baby.
Hi.
Time for another delicious meal.
Yep.
Tonight it is Swedish meatballs.
Yep. They look good.
Good.
They're really flavorful. Nice combo with the two meats. I can taste the nutmeg, just slightly.
Good. That's
It's
how
not
it should
like
be.
it's sweet or anything.
Right.
It's good. Looks like the sauce is thickening up, just like you said. So
Yeah, usually the longer it stands, and of course tomorrow it'll be real thick.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, it is thickening up. I think it's good. I think everybody will like this. And not just people on keto. I think the whole family would like this.
Yep, I'm going to feed it to the girls right now.
Yep. So, good job, baby. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoyed the Swedish meatballs. I know that my family definitely did. We would like you to stick around and be a part of our ketogenic family. So we would like you to consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. We upload new content twice a week. On Wednesdays, we have Keto Conversations, and that's where we get together and we discuss different ketogenic topics. Sometimes we have ketogenic food unboxings, sometimes we have what we eat on this lifestyle, and other times we just get together and talk about different ways that we can support each other on this weight loss journey and also just this life in general. So please definitely consider subscribing. We are also on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. And we release teaser photos there. Sometimes it's things that we are currently eating, recipes that we've made before. A lot of people who are subscribed to us and people who have joined us on those platforms will also post pictures and talk about things that they are eating and enjoying from CJ's Keto Kitchen as well. So definitely check us out there. And that's CJ's Keto Kitchen everywhere. If you need any nutritional information, ingredients, also thoughts that we had when making this recipe, and also CJ's taste test follow-ups, all of that information is always found on our blog, and that is cjsketokitchen.com. So definitely go over there and check that out. And we hope that you will come back and see us again next time on CJ's Keto Kitchen.